Hello students, today we will start with tables in HTML. So to create a table in HTML, we require table tag. As we all know, a tag has attributes. So of course, table tag has many attributes. But within the table tag, other tags are also used to create the table. For example, if I want to create the table row, so for that I should use tr tag. Tr means table row. And if I want to fill the data in the table, so for that I will have to use td tag, which is table data. So let us see what are rows and column within the table. For example, um, this is the table. This is the table, and this table has two rows. Can you see? One row and the second row. See, this is first row and this is second row. And what are columns? This is column. Vertical is column. So I hope you are clear with what is row and what are columns within the table. So to create this row, we require tr tag. And when I want to fill in the data within the table, within the cell of the table, this is one cell of the table. So for that I require td tag. There is one more tag present, th tag, that means table heading. If I want to give some heading within the table, I will use th tag. By default, the contents of the table heading will be bold. When I will use th tag for some content in the table, it will be by default in bold, and also it will be centered, aligned. The contents will be aligned in the center. So let me first I will theoretically discuss everything, and then we will see the example of all the tags and attributes which we are going to learn in table. So a table tag defines a table. Inside the table tag, we should use the tr tag to define the rows in the table. Use the th tag to define the row or column headings. Use the td tag to define the table cells. Table cells, I have told you what are cells, and the data within the cell. The table tag can also contain a caption tag. For example, I want to give some caption, some heading. For example, if there is an image, we just give the name of the image just below the image or above the image. Likewise, we can give the caption to the table by using the caption tag. Below the table or above the table. We'll see the example of each one. First, let us do it theoretically. Caption tag, which specifies the caption for the table. You can specify the width of the, okay, so the table has its border, so we can specify the width of the border surrounding the table. The table tag can also contain a caption tag which specifies the caption for the table. You can also specify the width of the border surrounding the table. For example, the same example I will take. This is the border. This is the border. So we can specify the width of the border of the table. The default background color of the table. We can also specify the background color of the table, the color which I want. For example, blue, green, yellow, whatever. You can use the cell spacing. Cell spacing now, what does that mean? Cell spacing. Let me first give you some example. This is a small table. Cell spacing. Cell spacing means the space between the cells. Here it's not clear. So let me see some other example. See, this is the cell. This is the cell. The space between the cells. Can you see the space between the cells? So cell spacing is used to specify the space between the cells. This is one cell, this is the other cell, this is the other cell, this is the other cell within the table. You can use the cell spacing attribute. So cell spacing is an attribute of table tag. Okay. Caption is a tag, not the attribute of the table tag. Caption is a tag, okay? And cell spacing is the attribute of the table. You can use the cell spacing attribute to specify the distance between the cells in the table, and the cell padding attribute to specify the distance between. Okay, what is cell padding? Let us see. Cell padding. I have the example with me for cell padding. The space between the content of the cell and the border of the cell means cell padding. The cell padding attribute to specify the distance between the border and content of every cell within the table. If you specify the width and height of the table, we can specify the width of the table. What is width? Width means, for example, here this is the table and this is the width of the screen. So width of the table is with respect to the screen. And height, we can specify the height of the table. If you specify the width and height of the table, the browser will do its best to make the table fit the specified dimensions. Okay, but in some cases this may not be possible. For example, if the table contains cells that contain non-wrapping long lines, the table may not fit in a specified width. What does this mean? Is if there is a complete one sentence, okay, and I have specified the width of the length as 20% of the screen. So the 20% 100, the 20% of the 100% screen. So 20% will be somewhere around here, and my content within the cell is crossing the 20%. So that time it's not possible to adjust the width and height of the table according to the specified value. So for example, I hope it's clear to you. For example, if the table contains cells that contain non-wrapping long lines, there are long lines within the table. The table may not fit in a specified width. This is the syntax of the table. We'll come to this. Okay, this is the table tag. This table tag has various attributes like align, BG color, border, cell padding. These are the attributes. Align is to align the table to left, right, or center. BG color is to specify the background color of the table. Border is used to specify the border of the table. Cell padding, I've already explained you. Cell spacing, height, width, calls, this we will discuss. Height, width we have done, calls, H space and V space will do it in detail. So table tag close, because these were the attributes of the table tag. Now we know the table elements. The table elements are, of course, first and foremost thing is table tag. Starting table tag, closing table tag. This defines a table in HTML. If the border attribute is present, your browser displays the table with the border. When border attribute is present, when you don't specify the border attribute within the table tag, there will be no border. Caption. Caption, as I had told you, defines the caption for the title of the table. The default position of the title is centered at the top of the table. The attribute. So this caption tag can have the attribute align, and align can have value bottom, because by default the caption is positioned at the top of the table to the center, and when I want to align the caption to the bottom of the table, centered align, that time I will use align is equal to bottom. The value of the align attribute is bottom, can be used to position the caption below the table. TR tag, I have already told you, it is for table row. I hope it's clear to you what is row and column within the table. This tag, starting TR tag and closing TR tag, specifies a table row within a table. You may define default attributes for the entire row. So where there are attributes for the TR tag also, like align. If I want to align the contents of the table row to left, center or right, or V-align, vertical align. I will tell you in detail everything. Align, V-align, what does that mean? Let us first start with example. Now you have got the idea what is table tag, what are basic tags are used within the table tag to create the table. So let us just start with the example. Table with no border and caption. So for caption, which tag is available? Caption tag. And we are seeing the example with no border. So I have already typed the code just to save time. Open with Notepad. So the basic tags are required. HTML head will specify the title also. Title close, head close, body. Now here if I want to have a table, okay, so I will use table tag. The table tag has border attribute, and I will specify the value of the border as 1. And here also I have used a width attribute. Width attribute is used to specify the width of the table. Here's the caption tag. This is what I want, the caption of the table. So table with no border. This is what I want as a caption for my table. And I have also used bold tag to make it bold. Close bold tag, then caption tag. The outer tag is closed in last. The innermost tag is closed first. Okay. Then TR tag, table row. I told you table row is for what? So for example, this is my table. Here Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday it's written. And this is my table. This is the table. So this is row. Horizontal is row. This is row. And vertical is column. Vertical is column. Column. This is also column. So this table has two rows and this table has two rows and two columns. So I'm talking about first row. Okay. So this is the first row. TR tag is for table row. Let us see. So first row I'm talking about, and the first row, for example, instead of TH I will use TD. First row, and this is the first data of the first row. So first data is ABC. So I have a table in which I have one row which has data A, B, C. Then second data is PQR. Second data is P. I'm talking about first row. First data was ABC. Second data is PQR. Okay. Then table row is closed. That means no. Second data was XYZ and third data was PQR. So it is actually XYZ X Y Z P Q R. Then first row is closed. Now if you'll see, again there is TR tag and this is for second row. So second row is now started. The first element of the first data of the second row is LMN. So this is done. First row, I'm done with first row. First row. Now second data I'm talking about. The content is data is L M N. Okay. Second is DEF. TD. TD is for data, table data. So D E F. Let us check again. Third is HYJ. Third data is HYJ. HYJ. Let us check. This TR is closed. So this row is closed here. No. So there is no other row present in the table and table tag is closed. So table tag is closed. So this table had only two rows and these were the data of the table. So it has two rows and three columns. 1, 2, 3, 3 columns and it has only two rows. Got it? Okay, so here if you'll see, this is the border attribute. Here I'm specifying the border of the table and width of the table. So let us see. Will open it with. I hope you remember that you have to save the file name with any name but with extension .html. I hope you remember this. Open it with Google Chrome. So the code was this. This was the code. So this is the table. Border I've specified 1 and width is 25% of the 100% of the screen. Caption is specified here, table with no border, and I have made it bold. It is centered aligned of to the table. This caption is within the center of the table. Caption close, bold close. Then the first row, it has got 3 data, then the second row it has got 3 data, then table is closed. What if I don't want to use border? Let us see what happens. I'm not going to use this border attribute. I'll save it and I'll refresh it. Let us check. The border is not visible. So to see the border attribute is compulsory to use. If you don't use the border attribute, then you will not be able to see the border. So we have to specify the border attribute. Okay, let me save it, refresh it. Okay, so I can see the border. What if I'm not using the width? Let us see. I'm not using the width. I'll save it, refresh it. See, the width of attribute, it will adjust according to the content of the table, and if I'll specify the width as 25%, so 25% is 100% of the screen. For example, if I will, instead of 25, I will use 50%. So let us see the output. 50%, almost half of the screen. Also, what we learned, if you remember, here we have used caption tag. Table tag, though, by now you know what it means. Table tag defines a table in HTML. If the border attribute is present, your browser displays the table with a border. Caption defines the caption for the title of the table. The default position of the title is centered at the top of the table. As you can see, the default position of the caption is centered at the top of the table. The attribute align is equal to bottom can be used to position the caption below the table. So let us check. I will use the attribute align is equal to bottom. Let us save it and check the output. Yeah. Now the caption is at the bottom of the table and centered align. I hope you are clear with width. Width attribute, let us see. Width defines the width of the table. The default is the optimal width. Optimal means best width. Of course, width attribute is used to define the width of the table. The default is the optimal width determined by the contents of each cell. So what is the default value I had shown you? It depends. The width of the table depends on the contents of the table. Default I'm talking about. If you specify the width in percentage or in pixels, the percentage of the width of the page or parent element. Okay. Parent element, like what I can say. For table tag, the parent element can be body tag. Okay, so depending on the parent element, so percentage of the width of the page. Percentage of the width of the page means this page. Percentage of the width of the page and or parent element, like body tag. Body tag is the parent. We can say that body tag is the parent element of table tag. Yeah. Table tag is used within the body tag. So I hope you are clear with TR tag, TD tag. Just one more thing I want to clear here is if you see here it's written that the value of the width attribute can be pixels or a percentage. We have seen the example of percentage. So what is the example of pixels? So we can specify the width of the table in pixels also. For example, I want to specify as 500 pixels px and I have to specify the semicolon. Let us save it and refresh it. So we can specify the width of the table in pixels also. Let me change the value to 1000. Let me change the value to 1000, save it and refresh it. Then also semicolon is not necessary. Okay. So I hope you are clear with the border attribute of the table tag and with the attribute of the table tag, caption tag, tr tag, td tag, tr close. Okay, closing table tag. So for today, we will stop here. We will continue in the next lecture. Thank you.